Zaldrizes Buzdaris Gosdau.
I decided to switch things. Well, let me just do the video first, and then you decide if I switch things up and made the format more fun, right? So this video, as you saw, the thumbnail, it's gonna be about Daddy Daemon and how basically I'm the embodiment of that character, penis size and all. Just kidding. It really will be like a Daemon, sucking D video, because that's kind of like. It's just fun. Alright, so before I jump into that, please do me a massive favor. Slap a like on this video. Like goal is going to be 420. And then this is the most important part. If you enjoy my content here on YouTube, subscribe and then turn your notifications all the way on. Like, 10 is high, but like 11 is higher. Like, none is low, but like some is like a 10, but all is like an 11. So please, turn your notifications like so that you get all. And you'll be alerted every time I upload. Also, consider checking out my Patreon. Or yeah, super special shout out to Breanne Johnson, The North Must Remember, and Heart of Inspiration. They are all members of my Dragon Knight tier, available over on Patreon. One of the main reasons why Daemon is my favorite character on House of the Dragon. Like, obviously, it's going to change a little bit as the seasons go by, but for the most part, it's Daemon, right? So, he is a full-on Targaryen. Right? So, in the books, in Fire and Blood specifically, Daemon is a veteran battle commander. The things that he did in his youth, like kind of what they showed us on the TV show, ultimately, he is like just kind of a flat character, right? Because, well, for one, we don't have his POV, so we don't know what his internal thoughts are. We just hear about the things that he did, and then from hearing about the things that he did, we get the opinion of the maester that's telling us that, or mushroom that's telling us that, like, hey, Daemon did this. And because of that, his character is flat. But on the TV show, they obviously knew what they were doing in casting Matt Smith. Like, I had never heard of this dude before, right? Like, obviously, he's been in some things, but ultimately, I think this role was meant for him. He gives me hope and makes me excited for all the future iterations of true, full-on Targaryen princes that we're going to get to see on screen. Because there's some crazy ones. Like, yes, we saw Viserys, right? Viserys, the beggar king in Game of Thrones Season 1. Ultimately, Daenerys is the complete opposite of most of her family members. Obviously, she's got some same motivation and some same internal dialogue it's internal dialogue to us, but same thought processes as some of her other ancestors. But for the most part, Targaryen princes can be a son of a gun, and Daemon gets me really excited for when we get the Blackfire Rebellion and we eventually get Aerion Brightflame and some of the legendary Targaryen princes. Like, Joffrey pales in comparison to some of these Targaryen princes. For instance, Maegor the Cruel, right? That's going to be really interesting to get to see them on screen. And Matt Smith's version of Daemon, Prince Daemon, in House of the Dragon makes me really excited for that. Also, you got to realize, a Targaryen, one of the reasons why people like them is because, obviously people like bad boys, but Targaryens are not afraid to commit atrocities in the name of their house, and Daemon has done that. Like, the show is going with certain versions of certain events, but for the most part, Daemon is still consistent all the way through. Like, there's moments that he has with Viserys where I question the consistency of his character, but ultimately, it gets me really excited for some of the events to come, like what happens with him and Nettles, the main showdown between him and Aemond. Like, I'm pretty sure, since it's a TV show and we're going to have multiple episodes and they're going to expand on the story, there's probably going to be some instances and occurrences where Daemon does things that make him look, not as dark as he did in Season 1. So all of that gets me really excited to see him on screen. You all let me know if you agree with some of the points I just made in the comment section. We're making pretty good time on this video. I'll just throw in a couple questions from you all. So this should leave me comments down below, and I'll probably include it in a live stream or in one of these like half Q&A videos, right? Usually the whole video is a Q&A, but I had to talk about how Daddy Daemon was just so amazing. All right, so this first one is from a user named @FrankWilkie3354, and he said, "Should have just hired the guy's wife. Let's be honest with each other. Season 1 was freaking awesome." And that's on a video that I did in response to the news that Miguel Sapochnik was, it was announced right after episode 1 aired that he was going to be leaving the series at the end of season 1. And then more recently, about 10 days ago, almost 2 weeks ago at this point, well, I guess depending on when you're seeing this video, you don't know how far in advance I make these joints. But anyway, basically the news came out that the reason why he quit was because they refused to hire his wife on as an executive producer. So this person, Frankie Wilco, said should have just hired the guy's wife. Let's be honest, what they did together in season 1 was freaking amazing. And I agree, although we don't know exactly what she's responsible for. Miguel Sapochnik's wife, she actually played a character in the show. Alex Raban, she plays a handmaiden or lady in waiting, right? To Queen Alicent, I believe. She's in several scenes. I think the last one, she's herded into a cell right when episode 9 starts and the Green Council kicks off. And she's kind of waiting. It'd be interesting to see if she comes back. But anyway, that's a response to that. I agree. If it's true what she's responsible for on the show, they 100% should have kept Miguel on and then hired his wife as a producer. There's no reason not to do that. But also, we got to realize, as a bit of like a light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing, Ryan Condal is the dude who was picked by George R. Martin. Ryan Condal wrote most of the entirety of season 1 and is responsible for how awesome the show is. Miguel Sapochnik is responsible for some amazing episodes as well, and also he's legendary in the sense that he comes from Game of Thrones. He's alumni, right? He's been doing this for a while. Dude's a legend, right? Every single episode he's done has been mint. The only thing I ever have to complain about his work is how dark season 8 episode 3 was, but I think a lot of people have that as a genuine complaint. Besides the point, you all let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section. I've already shared my thoughts in that video, which is linked down below. Parker Heath 9702, and they said, I'm about 200 pages into Dance, and I have a feeling it might become my favorite of the series. Storm will be hard to beat, but I'm excited for this one. Agreed. Well, okay, I don't agree, but that's just because I've read the main series so many times, and also Fire and Blood along with it. I prefer POVs. Like, Fire and Blood is awesome in the sense that we don't have, like, Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, Feast for Crows, and Dance of Dragons. None of those books just straight up list all of the events that are happening in those few years in the War of the Five Kings and in the post-war that will happen when Daenerys eventually gets to Westeros, and the Ice and Fire War with the White Walkers, and then the Sea Blood Battle War with Euron, right? There's a bunch of stuff happening. Ultimately, I am just far more intrigued by getting to know characters so well. Like, Fire and Blood is awesome because we get so much information in such a, considerably smaller book for the amount of information that it has. I prefer the nuances of reading a character, getting to know them, relating through most of their experiences, feeling like I'm in Westeros that way. Fire and Blood doesn't give me that, and it's not bad at all. It's awesome. It's amazing to just be able to run through information like that and build the bigger world of the main series. I just prefer the books. Like, my favorite book, ever since I started reading them, has been A Feast for Crows. And the main reason being is because there's a break from two major POV characters, Jon Snow and Tyrion. So George knew that and had to come up with something that was amazing. And we get Brienne's POV and what it's like in the Riverlands, and post, the war is still happening, but ultimately we get to see this war-ravaged kingdom. And I've never read anything like that, and I've read a bunch of books. Hopefully you continue your journey with Fire and Blood. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving the comment. And then the next and last comment that I want to talk about for this video is from a username at JustinQ1977, and he mentions Mushroom cannot be trusted at all. I also disagree with this. Respectfully disagree. Mushroom is the most trustful source of all when it comes to certain events that he was actively at or participated in. And the reason why I say this is because he doesn't have anything at stake. He doesn't have a reputation. Aside from making salacious claims, he doesn't have anything to lie about. Whereas the Maesters, literally the Maesters, play loyalty to the Greens or to the Blacks. So when they're telling their version of events, they're going to either make themselves look really good or make the leader of their side, whether that be the Greens, Alicent's party, or Rhaenyra's party, the Blacks, right? The Maesters are not to necessarily be trusted in that sense. And also, there's this Grand Maester conspiracy of them wanting to rid the world of dragons, Targaryens, and magic, right? Make it all an even playing field. So I don't trust the Maesters, but I do trust Mushroom. He's just a fool, right? Like myself, who everybody thought was lackwit, so they would talk about their deepest, darkest secrets in front of him, right? The show is taking a lot of his versions of events and slightly twisting them, but ultimately Mushroom is the most trustworthy historian in all of A Song of Ice and Fire, next to my penis. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please slap a like on this video. Like goes in 420. And also, make sure you turn notifications all the way on. Lot 2 and 11. Lot 10 is high, but lot 11 is higher. And then you'll get all notifications instead of some or none, right? Thank you for watching. Please consider checking out my Patreon. If you like, I do audio podcasts, I do video breakdowns, and then most recently I've been doing these reactions. And so if you want that content, you can join for just $2. Thank you for watching. Alonat, se actrices postare,